So Gautaman, you started working with us in January.
That's right.
All right. So I just want to know, what was your previous background like? If you can give the people who are attending some idea. Most of them are very senior, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years plus, right? And you were in a similar position. So so just tell us your background and then how you have tapped into this opportunity. What are the steps you've taken so far?
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and good evening to you and one and all who are tuned in here. To give my brief background, I have predominantly I've been working in the business development, that is sales and marketing. I have started my career with a small consumer durable firm selling sewing machines in the front line some 30 years back. And then moving to different industries, to name a few industries which has changed my career is Hindustan Liver and Shell. Hindustan Liver I was for about 5 years, and then Shell about 3 years. Now the current organization which I am working is one of the leading life insurance company of the country, and with whom I am working since last 2 decades now. I started with them as a branch manager, and today I am at a senior vice president role heading the state. That's about my career span. And now coming to the second.
What is your field of expertise? Like it's sales, operations, what is it called?
It's predominantly business development, channel management, team management, team building.
Great.
And now predominantly since last 7 years in strategic management.
Great, got it.
Actually involves designing strategy for the team, strategy for the channel, strategy for the state which I am heading.
So can you tell us what what traction have you got so far on your journey of becoming independent director? What are the things you have accomplished? I know you are still to get appointed. We have been working with you on that and discussing further ideas. But already in a very short span, just 5 months have been over of this year, and you have. What is the turnaround that has happened?
Great. Coming to your question, that accidentally I saw your advertisement in the Twitter when I was scrolling down. I said, let me check what it is all about. So that's how I also joined your bootcamp. I think, if I remember correctly, somewhere in the December. And I joined your bootcamp for 2 days, and that's where I picked up. And then whatever I'm sure you have.
You joined in December, you started in January, but what have you achieved so far? I told them, how many articles have you written?
I'll have to count, because since last 6 months I am writing almost 2 to 3 articles. And in fact, when you called me,
on LinkedIn I counted, it was 21. The last one you shared with me over WhatsApp, I counted on your LinkedIn, it was 21.
Because just now also I just published one article when your call came to join the.
In 3 days you are publishing an article.
Yeah, and I think now I have stopped counting, because almost 2 to 3 articles every day, and some leadership quote on a daily basis, and 2 leading newspapers, they carried my interview, and one your own channel has taken my interview on YouTube. Honestly speaking, before joining your course, independent directors course, where you have a part and parcel of this personal branding, I was never aware of something called exists that personal branding. And your personal branding class helped me that how to build a personal brand, and what are the ways and means are there to build a personal brand. In fact, if you go to my LinkedIn page, what I shared you at the beginning of the course and what is today, it's completely 360-degree turnaround. Because based on that learning, I have completely changed my profile, how it is visible today.
And can you tell us some differences that are visible for you in your career or in your life because you've done all this thing? Maybe people reach out to you, perceive you differently, ask you questions like, how have things turned around because of this activity? Are you seeing any differences?
Yeah, in terms of connection, let me tell you, in the last 6 months, about before I joined this course, I think somewhere 4,500 or less than 5,000 was my connection. Now today I think almost I'm touching 6,000. That also yesterday you pointed out when I realized that I am almost touching
followers. Yes, connects maybe more.
Yeah, in the last 4-5 months, I think 1,000 odd connections have, and predominantly these connections have come from the CEOs, the promoters, the business leaders, or who's the who of in a board. Those kind of people I also tried to connect, and they also connected. So that is one predominant change when it comes to networking. And with some of people I have connected, I have started an interaction where we have started sharing my experience, their experience, and already we are together exploring ways and means how to get into the board. And some of the people whom I associated through this class, like chartered accountant or greenfield expert, and one of a very senior company secretary who is teaching us. I'm co-authoring a book with them now.
Wow.
Already one book on leadership is almost ready. My daughter is, as you know, she is a journalism student, and she is doing my
final edits. Okay. So, but you have finished writing it.
Yeah, one book on leadership I have finished.
Great.
He's doing the editing part now. So probably take another.
I just want to know, this is great stuff, okay? Can you imagine, everyone, 6 months, he has completely changed the branding. He had the experience, but there's a huge difference in having that experience inside you and being noticed for it by the outside world. Now his track record shows, like when I see his profile, I see that whole difference. He's a different person now to anybody who's trying to find out and know about him, right? And that's going to be the clincher. When he starts, he's going to start working with SME promoters and help them IPO, right? And he's going to also reach out to them and this is going to be his next step to get appointed as independent director. He cleared the exam. Which month you cleared the exam, Gautaman?
March, within 3 months.
Within 3 months he cleared the exam. So it's very doable. And Gautaman, if you could just share 2 or 3 highlights of what was most useful and beneficial for you, across maybe the corporate governance sessions or the exam training or the branding, whatever you took away from, right? 2 or 3 examples for people.
As I already mentioned, the personal branding class, because it's not only a clearing in an independent director examination, but also simultaneously building a brand and expanding the network, which is most important. That should be a part and parcel of the independent directors class. And 2, coming to the independent director class, all your courses, be it basic initially, which
clear exam.
To clear the online proficiency examination classes, all those classes, and specifically your mock test. Those mock test question papers, those are very, very useful to clear the examination. And now post-examination, the corporate governance classes, both theoretical and the role play classes, which is also teaching us a lot of skills and giving a real boardroom situations that and how the board meeting happens and how the board directors they respond, or all when we get into the board, how we
sitting in mock board meetings in the class and practicing.
Absolutely. In fact, I can see some of students already they have behaving like an independent director in those roles.
Okay, one question. There are a lot of people here who have years of experience. Okay, so I just want to ask you, can there be a real difference in their life if they do personal branding? Can it change the way they are perceived, improve their likelihood for appointment?
In fact, I will go one level above. Whether they are clearing the independent examination or not, whether after clearing, whether they are getting into the brand on a board or not for an immediate person, but this personal branding class will change their current profile itself.
Already.
What they are doing now, because for that also one has to build a brand, one has to showcase their strength. When I say strength, it's a brand, because every individual is a brand for the organization they are working or the role they are working. That itself is a brand. For that, the way we see today, brands are showcased in many platforms. So we as an individual, we need to showcase our brand, which even after working for 3 decades, I was not aware of it. As you rightly mentioned that about my articles and all.
I remember speaking with you and you were like, okay, now what's next in my career? And you were like, I'm going to retire. And now what would be the next thing that will make a difference? So, and then you realized, okay, I could become an independent director, build my personal brand. Now those days seem very far away. But in 6 months, so much difference has happened. And for many people, for years, they keep thinking this, right? Some of you may be thinking for 3 years, 5 years, what's next? And I have probably given up also. But this is something that is really doable and possible. Okay, I want to thank Gautaman for his time and we will move on. Thank you so much, Gautaman. And I'm asking the participants to share, the attendees to share feedback. Did Gautaman contribute to you? He was here taking time out from a Saturday to share his journey and success with you till here. And please let him know whatever feedback you have for him. Were you inspired? Are you motivated, right? For doing this in your career, right? To make this difference in your career. And you can find Gautaman on LinkedIn also. Okay. Thank you so much, Gautaman. And you can see stellar feedback, right?
Yes, I can see.
Great, thank you.
Abhiday, with your permission, can I just share my LinkedIn?
Yes, please.
Just give me only 1 second.
Yes.
So they all can connect with me.
Okay,